Hey there, viewers, and welcome to the podcast at hand. Join with me now is ACW Grimlock over Skype and Face. What's going on, Paul?
Nothing much.
I see.
Besides WCW stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of that atmosphere going on around right now. But the question of the podcast here, and it's the question I'm just thinking about, which I'm sure a few people were thinking about with the whole thing that was on GameFAQs that's brought to people's attention, if this is canon, is that if you know of a clan that's becoming active for a new era or a new generation of gaming, what would you do if you know of the original run, or if you were a member of the original group?
I would, at this point, because we don't have as many clans as in the past, I would let them stay. Even if I was a past member. And if I was a past member, I would join them and help them.
Fair enough there. And that's what's kind of irked me about this, is because a lot of newer players coming in don't know about a lot of the past clans that were, unless you actually become more involved in the community. And so what it is that, so Spunk's decision in reviving this particular clan, not to reference it, but it hits upon a very interesting note, because he's one of very few people of the new era that actually took the initiative, like what I aforementioned in a video about making your own clan, to make his own clan, and succeeded in doing that. Like, he started out rough, but he actually picked some pretty good players to play for him. Whether or not the name is controversial or not, as some people want to look at it as such. Mind you, when he picked WCW, he could have just as easily picked any other clan name from the past in order to bring into perspective. He could have picked Warhead. He could have picked the Fallen Primes, or even Autobot, or hell, probably even ACW if he really thought about it like that.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
You're just now back?
Yeah. Had to do something really quick.
Oh. Did you happen to catch that last sentence I said?
I heard ACW, that was it.
Of course. I said that out of all the groups that he brought back, and he brought back that particular one that would stir this unusually unforeseen outcome. But I'm saying is that he could have just as easily picked any other clan in history that is not active today in order to try and make a name for it in the modern day perspective. Because he could have just as easily picked, like what, as I referenced Warhead, or the Fallen Prime, Dax and Turbozo group, or that old group Autobot, I can't remember what they are, or like Prisoners of Kaon, whatever that old group was, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head exactly, or even ACW. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There was a lot of old groups. Like a lot.
I'm sure. Because the ones that are active nowadays are the most iconic ones, so it's only natural that some of the leaders or respective followers of said clans that are still active are touchy about this subject, because it's been around for so long, or it's had such a long-lasting impact that it really can't be seen any other way.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the bigger groups out there right now, like Elite Legends or Lightning Strike Coalition, Fastoon, I guess chalking it in there now, I guess WCW,
Nemesis a little?
Not so much Nemesis.
Kind of DMG?
Not so much Nemesis, but Darkmount Incorporated itself, actually, because Straxus made something that's so historic that it really can't be repeated. But the members itself can actually kind of take from the lore of Darkmount in Transformers lore and actually work with that to their advantage in order to make that clan. And that's what Prophet's working with. And it's working pretty good to his advantage. Do you remember well, it derives a little bit, but do you remember the promo video I made for DMG versus TAC?
Yeah.
In the description is the actual official lore of Darkmount. That's how Straxus founded Darkmount. In that whole description is the lore.
I think WCW was in War for Cybertron, but I'm not sure.
It's a rough call. I don't know how old it goes back, but I'm sure there's a comment that'll probably come into play that'll help elaborate on that. Now, back to my question. As I stated, now if a new clan does come into perspective, what would you do if you were of your old run? You stated your question. You stated your answer. I mean to say. What if the clan had? Here's another perspective. What if the clan had an original tag to it? And there are 2 or 3 clans that have that particular controversial status of being.
What? You lagged out right there.
No, I said, what if the clan had for this type of clan clemency, where you can claim copyrights to the clan tag if you can, I guess. What if the clan itself had an original name before the one it's known by now? Because there are a few groups that have that state of being. Would you have a problem with it then? And I'll list a few examples. Like, for instance, Elite Legends. Before it was Elite Legends, that was Elite Overlords, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And before Darkmount Gaming Incorporated, it was Darkmount Destroyers, and originally Darkmount Strikers.
Yeah. Well.
And then presently, I guess, between Khan or Autobot, you take your pick. I guess one derived from the other one. And then with the Masters of Destruction, they branched out into or evolved into WDA, and there was another group. Wasn't they XD?
XD? No.
No, the tags that have the X and the D and the underscore before and after the name. That was a group that was relevant to the Masters of Destruction, wasn't it?
No. I think that was just a gamer tag.
Because Pro Devil and well, what's that other guy's name that has X? Because Pro Devil and a couple of the players have that tag still as a main. Trouble, that was it.
I don't think so.
They do, where they have the X, where they have the X's in front of the name.
Well, yeah, they do have that, but I don't think it was a clan.
Okay.
If it was probably way back then.
That's what I'm thinking, is that it would have to go back, because MOD and all those other ones that are relevant to those players, that goes back a good ways also.
Yeah.
And so that's what goes. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The question you were asking, I really think it depends on the old members, how they view it. If it was me, I wouldn't mind, because I'm pretty laid back, but apparently a lot of these old WCWs really don't like their clan getting brought back.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is that for the newer, for any of the older players like that were a part of older clans that are now no longer canon in this gaming era today, do you think that a lot of them would have a problem if the original tags were brought back by newer players? Or is this something that's like a perspective? Like you can only see good players using that tag. You don't see newer players with a whole group of noobs that are trying to make a name for themselves using that tag.
You can't like see a group of noobs. It's probably the best way. Using
A group of inexperienced players, let's say.
Yeah, I can't.
All right, here. Let me give you an example. All right, say Darkmount Strikers came back, way back. All right, say that came back into a new age thing where you got like the DMS tag, like the DMS Dark Nemesis guy. Now, if that guy brought back Strax's original tag logo from way back on WFC to the modern day and managed to get a group together, whole group of inexperienced players or experienced players, would people have a problem with that?
Some will, some won't. But a lot of players like view the little box like it's mine, not the community. It's like they view what's theirs, not like what can I do to help everyone else.
Mindset of selfishness.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's tax this along. What if that was a group? What if it's a group that's being revived that no one cares about?
No one would care about it. Maybe some players, depending on who's reviving it.
Would the person bringing said clan back be an impact to the perspective?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? You lagged out again?
No, I was wondering if said person in question that's bringing back a group, would that also view the perspective here? And you said, yeah, and that I can agree with that to some extent.
Because if it was an old player, like say, Beast Overlord revives a clan, like he goes to revive
Warhead.
just Warheads, just a random clan. Other players will follow him into there because they're like fans of him from the past, his friends. Like, I think Star Wars player would follow him. Mr. Green. A lot of LSC players and a lot of EL players will follow him into that clan.
He goes that far back, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In some ways, I think that the perspective of the player itself that shapes the whole image is fair and unfair in some way, because you're not giving them enough credit, or you're giving them too much credit.
Yeah. If you're like new, you should earn your credit. Like, earn. I really can't put like how to earn it.
No, that's pretty much it. You just earn it over time by trying to it's not so much a popularity contest, but by having your group of friends just work your way up to the top, like what all groups have done at some point or another. Not all the groups now that are famous have always been winners. They started out as losers and eventually know the ropes about how to win.
Yeah. If you start out winning, then that is interesting. It's not interesting to see a clan first win a battle and keep winning.
Yeah, because that way because if that's the case, then then they lose the mindset of how to really play the game, and then suddenly when you lose, they take losing very hard.
Yeah, for example, like EL.
What do you mean?
Like, they take losing really hard. like really hard.
I don't know about that.
From what we fought them in my eyes, and the people who fought with me, we won. They took the loss overboard. It was so crazy how they took the loss.
Jeez. Well, I mean, they don't really have to take it. If that's the case, then they don't really have to take it seriously. I mean, it's fine to have fun and have good fun in a competitive environment, but winning and losing isn't the end of the world.
Yeah. And I think Klung, this related to WCW. In the beginning, I did post something about, like, some old members should rejoin not WCW. To, like, help them out, give them tips how they did it in the past. And Clunker was the first one that said, I don't want anything to do with them. And then when they almost win a match against some decent players, Clunk wants something to do with them now.
Wait a minute, when they had the win against the technical win, I guess, against KOA.
Yeah. And I don't see how Clunk's gonna help with him being inactive.
Does Clunker still even play PlayStation 3 anymore?
I don't know.
Because I know most players now pretty much predominantly play PS4, with PS3 being a luxury.
Yeah. I think that if Clunker takes control of WCW, he'll just re-kill it. There won't be WCW running around.
Well, that's something that's before my time, so I can't really say too much positively or negatively about it. Because that was a group long before I came into play, or even before TAC came into play. And my final question in the podcast, while we're going along here, is that if the said group is to disband, what would you put in place for it? What would you put in place for it? If you want to see it into a new era, or if you want it to just be a one-time, one experience thing.
I would motivate them to keep going. I would probably even clan battle them and lose on purpose to motivate them and make other people be like, whoa, they're actually pretty good.
It stirs confidence.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, what if in said situations when a group falls or when a clan disbands, would you have a problem seeing if any of our groups disband? Would you have a problem seeing it under new ownership?
No, I wouldn't, because they're still around, ready to fight if they want to fight.
Okay. Because I know ACW did go down the first time, and then got brought back by the Wheats, and then went down, and that's why I'm trying to think. There is a pretty good chance it'll be brought back a third time. It's just a matter of when. If you see it brought back in full, would you have a problem seeing that in UNK around at the same time?
No, I would actually be really happy. Because then if it's one of my old ACW members trying to bring it back, that means I taught them right to brave up and take control of the place.
Like to really try and be your own leader. And so if one person goes down, another person can step up, and there really wouldn't be too big of a difference.
Yeah. Now, if they're using the name in a bad way, I would be kind of mad.
Okay.
But I wouldn't tell them, like, disband themselves. I would try to redirect them into the right pathway.
Okay, kind of tell them, like, when you see that logo, the mindset kind of goes in this direction. So for you to do right by the tag and also do right by your friends to be a good team, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I know for tax disposition on this, me, Arg, and Skull Spectre pretty much all have a similar consensus about what will happen if tack falls. Although for Skull Spectre, when we made the group, he already thought way ahead of time to the end game when tact falls. For him, it's not if, it's when, because nothing lasts forever. And to some extent, I can agree to that.
I don't see tack falling.
Well, the thing that we have in play for that, if it does happen from my perspective, when from his perspective, is that when the three of us decide to leave, we leave it to the people that play for us, that have either played the longest or that have the most dedication to the group. We'll leave it to them in order to decide whether or not tact continues to exist or not. Remember, there is no leader system here, so everybody in their way in the group is their own leader. So they can decide whether or not tact continues to exist or not. Long after the three of us go.
That's actually a smart idea. Because you're putting more confidence in the members, not the leader. Because I just don't like it when I leave a clan, people follow me to a different clan. I want them to make their own clan or stay in that one clan.
Fair enough.
And SP, he did what I like. He listened to me and revived an old clan, and still he's getting all this hate and still is keeping it going.
SP?
Yeah, Spunk.
Oh! Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Spunk's been getting a lot of BS up the behind for a while now because he's not a good player, but that's not the case. He's a very spirited player, and a lot of people don't give him credit. Because a good leader doesn't have to be a strong leader.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Alright. Alright, and so, in conclusion, I think that pretty much does point us in the right direction for where the podcast tries to place an idea for thought. Before we end it though, is there anything else that you wanted to add or anything you want to say while we're going along? Just something to think about.
If I wasn't in where I am right now, like where my clan is almost at that point of disbanding, if I wasn't, I would I would tell Spunk and motivate him that keep leading WCW. Don't worry about the hate. But if I do that, then I would get hate, and my members will get hate, and it will destroy my clan.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can only believe what you believe, and it's just how you view it or how you feel about it. And then for other people that are involved or involved in a more deeper paradigm, also how they see it and how they feel about it, and in some cases what they feel they're entitled to.
Yeah.
Well, viewers, that's pretty much the podcast between me and ACW Grimlock here. But I also want you to think about that question also that we sat here and discussed. For how you see the ownership of a clan tag or what you're entitled to, whether or not you were a part of the original group, or if said original group is inactive or is being dormant, or you gave up the whole rights of it when you left, or when the whole group became inactive and thus is no longer a group. If said group came back or was revived somehow, what would you do? What would your course of action be? This is Rodimus Prime signing out. Y'all take care. Until all are one.